Welcome to Real Vermont News. Today, we're looking into the strong likelihood of more new taxes and more attacks on our liberty now that our far-left legislature is back in town. Over 600 bills have been introduced this year in the Vermont House and more than 200 in the Senate. Hang on to your hats while we review just a few of the worst ones with Rob Roper, president of Ethan Allen Institute.
Thanks, Bob. Let's remember that before this current legislature passes even one new law, Vermonters already are amongst the most highly taxed citizens in the nation. We pay over $2 billion a year for a public education system. We spend over $6 billion a year on health care, and only 7 states in the country pay more for electricity than we do. I could go on, but you get the point.
Everybody gets the point. And one more thing, the state's $4.5 billion in unfunded pension liabilities for teachers and state workers. It's going to cost almost $200 million every year for the next 20 years just to keep that debt from growing. And the legislature hasn't begun to figure out how to pay the basic $4.5 billion bill to bring things up to date.
Well, that's the starting point for this discussion. We're going to have even more taxes to pay if the majority in the legislature follow through with their Transportation Climate Initiative, or TCI, for example. The TCI is a not-so-cleverly disguised carbon tax that liberals want to add to the price of gasoline and diesel we buy for our cars and trucks. It will add as much as 17 cents per gallon, just to start. The price under TCI will increase every year to the point where it's so financially painful to drive a car, you'll have to stop.
How can the left claim this is not a carbon tax? But let's move on. What's happening with the minimum wage increase that is such a big priority for legislative liberals?
Well, on the one hand, they think even the tiniest of Vermont businesses can afford to pay employees $15 per hour. But somehow they forgot that many healthcare workers who are paid through Medicaid currently make less than the proposed minimum wage. So if they raise the minimum wage, they need to raise taxes to pay more for Medicaid services, an estimated $86 million more over 5 years. Those same far-left legislators seem determined to pass a mandatory paid family leave program too, and that comes with a new payroll tax costing working Vermonters about $30 million per year.
Speaking of health care costs, I see that the Green Mountain Care Board, whose job it is to contain costs of health care, recently approved more rate increases for people with Vermont Health Connect insurance plans. Blue Cross Blue Shield premiums go up 12.4% and MVP gets 10.1% raise. We all got raises like that, right?
Sure we did. Don't forget the 59% increase the Green Mountain Care Board okayed for One Care Vermont. That's going to cost $1.42 billion. And here's another kick in the shins. We're looking at a 4% increase in property taxes to pay for education. It's a mess, and it's getting messier.
I guess Act 46 didn't really save any money. What a surprise. Thanks, Rob. That really is all the Real Vermont News we have time for. A lot more happened, and we'll be looking into all of it.
Paid for by Rescue Vermont Political Action Committee. Bob Fernier, Treasurer.